One thing that this really clearly shows is that Naughty Dog failed to get a large portion of their audience to care about Abby's character, despite how much they tried. The question is, why?
Yo, how's it going? Welcome back to this new episode of Gaming Talks with Giammi, and I just saw this TikTok and I wanted to make a video about it because it made me question, did Naughty Dog fail with their storytelling? Did they fail to give us a good final message with The Last of Us Part 2? Well, I disagree. I don't agree with this TikTok at all, and I'll tell you why. This will be a very interesting video and want to see what other people think about this, but the game shows our flaws as humans. It shows our weaknesses. It shows the power of bias and the fall of humanity, and by that I don't mean as the fall of our species, but I mean as our lack of humanity and morality, the fall of our morality as humans, and how we can only justify excessive actions from people we like or side. Let's take the pandemic, the Covid19 crisis as an example. We all lived there. I was there. I saw the news. I saw what Twitter. I saw what people were doing. People were buying all the food available, all the supplies, all the fuels. Everyone was thinking about themselves. There were massive heated arguments over whether the virus existed, whether vaccines were good or bad. There was massive division and fighting over around COVID, a respiratory virus, not a zombie apocalypse, but a respiratory virus. And I think it really brought out the worst of us. It shows that in times of crisis, we don't really unite. We don't. We are divided. We are selfish. We are violent. And I saw this quote literally 2 days ago, and it's so crazy how I saw this TikTok later, which was like, there's a quote that the quote says the world is 9 meals away from total destruction, which means it all goes nice and well where things are going according to plan, when everyone has food, everyone has money. But what happens when shit hits the fan? What happens when there's a pandemic, when there's a crisis, where the resources become limited? That's when the true nature of humankind comes out. That's where our violent and selfish ideas or a selfish side comes out, and the game only shows an extreme scenario, a zombie apocalypse. That's is very likely. That's based on our record. It's a likely scenario. That in a world that is dying, we must make choices that will damage our sense of humanity in order to survive. Where survival is the only option. There is no more objectivity, but only subjectivity, which means we do what we think is right. There's no yes or no, black or white. It's just what I think is right. It might not, it's what I think is the right choice, but it might be really harsh or really bad for some other people. I'm just playing right now The Walking Dead, Telltale, and it's full of those scenarios where you have to make choices between one group or another, between one person or another, between stealing from one group or stealing, from another group, because that's what we have to do for survival. So let's look at our characters for a second. Let's start with Abby, okay? The reason she killed Joel was because of revenge. She thought killing Joel was the right thing to do to avenge her father. Let's look at Joel. Joel killed everyone in the hospital, and he became a very bitter and very vengeful man after the death of Sarah. He became a smuggler, he did a lot of bad things. And then when he was at the hospital, he killed every single person in the hospital as he thought it was the right thing to do to save Ellie, to save her from dying. Then we play as Ellie in The Last of Us Part 2, where she kills hundreds of people, including a pregnant woman, because of revenge, as she thought that was the right thing to do to avenge Joel. As you can see, there's a constant theme. Every time someone does something horrible, they think they're doing the right thing. And we tend to side with Ellie and Joel because we played as them, we played as Ellie, and we see her as our hero, as the heroine, as the main character. But the choice made by every single character, by Joel, by Abby, or by Ellie, are just the result of the world that transformed people into violent and aggressive individuals to survive. Let's imagine for a second a different universe, like a multiverse in a different galaxy, where there's no The Last of Us Part 1 or 2, but there's only a game where you only play as Abby, and a game like that would have had massive hate towards Ellie if we didn't know her. If someone like Ellie shows up in the middle of the game killing someone Abby cared about, we would have sided with Abby straight away, and we wouldn't even care about Ellie. And it shows how easy to side with someone when you don't know all the information. But the thing of The Last of Us Part 2, when, it's not that common to play as the villain, or who you think is the villain, is that by playing as both, you get the biggest reality check that there is no villains in the story, realistically. There's no right or wrong. It's just that humans have lost themselves so much, they've lost their morality, they've lost their humanity, that they're no different than a zombie. There's no really a villain of the story who's trying to take over the world, or there's not really a villain trying to eradicate everyone from the world and just, being the supreme leader like in most games. This is just how it shows how bleak humanity has become. The game shows how lost humans have become, and the choices Abby has done are just the result of what she thinks is right in this times of struggle. The choices that Joel has done to kill everyone in the hospital, to almost kill Merlin, kill Abby's father, were justified in his head. He may seem as the villain from Abby's perspective, but from Ellie's perspective, or from Tommy's perspective, he was a hero. So there's no right or wrong anymore, and this is the bleak message that I think that the world of The Last of Us shows, is nothing is right and wrong. There's no moral compass anymore. We're all doing things for our own good and our good only, which is damaging humanity. But the beauty of the game, and I think where Naughty Dog really nailed it, is the theme of forgiveness and hope. Both Ellie and Abby experienced this theme, about being, about wanting to have a better future, wanting to forgive, and it's a sign that humanity is not lost yet, and there's hope for a better future. Abby shows this by taking care of Lev, becoming almost a mother or a sister, we can say, to Lev, a person who has lost everything, a person who, it was technically, different, we can say different race almost, in terms of they were the scars, she was the wolf, they were meant to kill each other, they were in an awful blood battle. So you can tell two people from two different backgrounds are coming together and taking care of each other, so, showing again that that sign of morality and humanity coming back, and her, nightmares of her dying father are gone. Ellie forgives Abby. She decides to leave behind this vengeful quest, this wanting to avenge Joel because she thinks it's the right thing to do. By doing that, her nightmares, her flashbacks are replaced with an happy Joel, a Joel that symbolizes forgiveness. And both these characters showcase the morality and humanity in these characters. Both events showcase that humanity is still within us, and it's not lost yet. And the way the game ends as well, with both of them surviving, the home screen goes from a misty, cloudy, dark background to a sunny, more radiant background, again showcasing the rebirth maybe in humanity. And even in the games, we can see throughout the game regret in both Abby and Ellie of the persons they've become. They've become, bitter, remorseful, angry, and we can see that those characters wanted to leave their past self behind. Overall, the game is called The Last of Us, which can be interpreted in many different ways, but I think one of them is suggesting The Last of Us as humans. And not as human beings, but The Last of Us as moral individuals. The Last of Us with our sense of humanity. What separates us from animals is the fact that we know the difference between right and wrong. We can tell that difference. We have that, moral compass that, guide us to make decisions. And I think Naughty Dog does an amazing job at illustrating our human side, demonstrating our struggle to be unbiased and moral in hard times. We struggle to side with Abby throughout the game as we like Ellie more. But if justice is blind, like they always say, we then need to take a step back and realize that they both did horrible things, and that is because they've been through the same evil world that has projected those characteristics into them. And I think now, to conclude, let's look back at the TikTok. The TikTok said Naughty Dog failed to make audiences care about Abby. I don't think that was what they wanted to show. They wanted to show that audiences struggle to side with Abby, not because they did a bad job telling the story, but because they wanted to show that as humans, we struggle to see things from two different directions. We do that with everything. We do that with politics, we do that with opinions, we do that with people. We can't, we only want to see things one way, and it's our way. We struggle sometimes to be open-minded, and in times of crisis, that this struggle becomes even bigger and makes us even more divided. When I played the first time The Last of Us 2, I honestly almost skipped through most of the Abby sections. I didn't care, I couldn't care less, I just skipped through and I wanted to play as Ellie again. But then when I played this game the second time, and then the third time, and then the fourth time, I fully understood Abby's side of the story, and I liked what they did, where Ellie day 1, 2, and 3 is all about revenge, it's all about, being, trying to hit back, and Abby day 1, 2, and 3 is all about being better, it's all about being better than the person she was when she was in Jackson. And it shows that, Abby wants to grow, Abby wants to change, and Ellie realized that at the end of The Last of Us Part 2. I think Ellie's growth comes after she almost kills Abby. And overall, to conclude, I think Naughty Dog did an amazing job in telling the story. Like I said, this is just one opinion, there's so many ways to interpret the game, but I think, the Naughty Dog did not fail in making us care about Abby. Naughty Dog succeeded in showing us humans we are divided, and we are biased, and there's nothing wrong with that. Being a human means we have flaws, but I think the real thing is understanding our flaws and trying to be better. And with this, I think I can conclude the video. I hope you liked it. Like I said, this is a hot take. Don't read too much in things I said. Take this with a grain of salt. Like I said, it's a very hot take. I saw the TikTok and I made the video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think, and thank you so much for joining in. I can't wait for The Last of Us 2 Remastered. Hopefully I'll be able to pre-order it, and yeah, take care, love you all, stay safe, and see you soon, bye.